see everybody. Hi, Kent. Lots of faces out there. Hey, guys. Hopefully we can unmute you so I can hear a little bit about how the auction donations are looking from Sherry. How's it looking, guys? Did we get some good stuff coming in tonight?
The back of my car is full.
Oh, nice. I thought we were going to say that. Thank you so much, all of you. Oh my gosh, all the messages this week. It's been so great. Thank you all for coming through. Y'all have been out there asking for donations for our auction. So thank you so much. Today is the initial deadline for those things. If you're out there and you still have something rolling in, we do give a little slack. We do give a little leeway. So our actual, thank you for getting them now, because that helps us, because we can get some pictures. We can start getting things cataloged and all that and prepared. But if you're out there and you still have something coming, the actual drop dead deadline where we need those things in our hot little hands is next Tuesday, because then, and that's the 10th, because then on Wednesday, the 11th, a bunch of us ladies are getting together right there in the Kent shop, and we are having this big assembly line, and we're putting together all the baskets. So we're combining things like things that aren't already put together as a basket, just kind of odd things. We're creating things. And so we're getting it all wrapped up, all labeled, all ready to go. So that is the actual deadline. So if something else is coming, go for it, bring it, get it to us. If you can bring it next Tuesday to the watch party, that's great. If you want to know a local drop location near you, we've got Arlington, we've got Tacoma, we've got Kent, we have Lake Tapps, or we can arrange a pickup. So you just reach out to me, Becky, or Kristen, and we will let you know where you can drop them off, or we will arrange a pickup. So that's that. And then tickets, tables. We've still got tickets left. Please get your tickets. I know a lot of people have said they haven't gotten theirs yet. Now that it's October, I think the numbers have started to climb. And we do need to start honing in on the numbers for the meal. There's going to be a delicious catered meal, something for everybody. And we do need to get final numbers here pretty soon to the Muckleshoot Casino. So definitely get your tickets. Don't delay. But there's definitely still time for that. And then let me think. Anything else, Becky, Bill, Sherry, Kristen, if there's anything else I'm missing as far as the auction that needs to be said tonight, make sure to wave and get my attention, and let's make sure that gets covered. But I'll move on to Mom's Group. Mom's Group every Wednesday. So all you ladies out there, whether you've attended a Mom's Group or not, you all are invited, all you ladies. On Wednesdays at 11 a.m., it's always on Zoom. We just take 1 hour and have our coffee together, and it's just an opportunity to talk about the topic from the night before, get to know each other. So we want you with us. So reach out, I'll give you the link. We'd love to have you tomorrow. We have an extra special one tomorrow because Becky Wiggins has created a PowerPoint presentation for an event she has coming up with a network, BNI, business network group that she's part of, and she's the featured speaker next week. And so she put together this really amazing PowerPoint, and she sent me the slides today, and I was like, oh my gosh, you have to share this on a Mom's Group. It was so beautiful. I haven't even heard her speak the words, but I saw the slides that she put together and created, and so she's going to share it with the moms and practice it with us or whatever and share it with us tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to that. So definitely join us tomorrow. And then we have a special request from our Battlefield community. We have we have a family that's looking for a babysitter. I believe Bryce's daughter's 3 years old. Yes. What's that? 2.5. So her caretaker lives in SeaTac, and we're looking for a babysitter on weeknights and the evenings. And if you have, a young person, responsible person, maybe young, looking for a side job, or maybe it's a stay-at-home mom out there, if you know somebody who might be willing and interested in that, could you reach out to me and let me know? We'd love to help this family find somebody to help out. So again, she's 2.5 years old, lives in the SeaTac area. It's while her caretaker is at work, and it's in the evenings, SeaTac area. So reach out to me if that's something that some kind of connection to hook us up. So Thanks for that. And then let me double check there at Kent. Is there anything about the auction we should point out, or are we good there? I think we're good there. So great to see so many people. It's hard to tell who's out there. If there's anybody new out there, I hope you'll introduce yourself tonight a little bit later. I hope you will, so we can see you and I can meet y'all. But with that, so we don't have any comedy tonight. Kyle is detoxing from his phone currently, and so he's just taking a little break from technology. So he's taking a break from his comedy.
Double the jokes next week.
Double the jokes next week, he promises. So he'll be here with us next week to start out with some comedy for us. But for now, let's move it over to Arts, and let me give me just a moment to take everything off here and switch the cameras. We'll switcheroo here to see everybody here in Vegas. There we go. There's the Vegas crew. But I believe we've just got Art on Spotlight is what I'm aiming for here. Yes. Okay. Hey, Art, can we hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, so surprise, surprise. Art just decided at 6 a.m. this morning that he was going to hop a flight and join you all there in Seattle for Solution Group tonight. So lucky you guys. And here we are from Vegas tuning in.
Yeah.
I'll let you have the floor.
Maybe we wanted to get away from the dogs that were sleeping between us. I took Kyle's phone. We took Kyle's phone today. What do you guys think of that? Everyone that knows Kyle. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He's just an addict, you know?
Do they have on subs for that?
Yeah, he's just sitting there shaking.
Again, it's the doc's phone.
But he's been going through. He's down there as a client now. You know?
A real addict that had 2 phones.
Yeah, he probably has a backup one. We're probably gonna have to search him.
Kyle, he's got a burner under his pillow.
Yeah, he probably does. He's gonna steal someone else's, or he's a junkie. Well, it says Solution Group on the.
Yeah.
I castered it.
Just gonna give you a visual. There's Kyle. Kyle really is here. Really is here. All right.
All right, all cell phones are turned off, put away. Give us an hour.
What cell phone?
Back in 2011, when I got sober, they told me that that it was because I had a lot. Well, some places told me I had what was called a spiritual malady, like some lack of some kind of spiritual deal, that I was I had a hole in me, and I needed to I was trying to fill that hole with drugs, and that if I found some type of spiritual deal, then that would help me. And then over here, they told me when I went to treatment, whether it was outpatient or wherever was trying to do it, they told me that I had a disease. And I like to grab onto that one sometimes. That was a good one to tell Dad. You know, Dad would say, you know, why are you getting loaded? Or, you know, how come you stole my shit? And then I would say, I have a disease, Dad. You can't blame me. And then they told me about my triggers. He said that I had triggers. So triggers were another good one. I could go along the whole gamut of whatever somebody was currently telling me what my problem was. And that was all neat. You know, they all had a reason for this predicament that I was in. And yeah, it was all, I have a disease, my triggers are overwhelming at this point, and now they've updated it a bit, and they've moved on, and now it's trauma. And so now we all have trauma, and we're all here because of our trauma. We forgot about the disease part. Now we don't have it. Or maybe we just now have a disease caused by trauma, and that's it. So every couple years they update kind of the cause. of this whole thing. They say so disease is like so 80s now. It's so outdated. You need to be doing trauma therapy. You can't. And so it says solution group on the deal. So let's talk about what that would be. And there's we have addicts and we have family members here, and it's called solution group. So let's talk about these roads that kind of we travel. And I think the first part of this process I would call the beginning. So in the beginning, we go as the addict and we start dabbling, and we start entertaining these ideas. And usually it's at this. I like to say that I think that the new cause of drug addiction, in my opinion, is and this is just me, but with the new cause now, I'd like to come out and breaking news nationwide. The new cause of addiction is drugs. I like it would be awesome. I just have it breaking news. Art's figured it out. If you dump truckloads of drugs into a community, people will do them, and then we're screwed. And if you bring truckloads of fentanyl, there's no warehouses right now where the fentanyl's sitting there on the shelf. Nobody's like promoting it and marketing it and going, wow, I'm just not being able to sell enough. The meth's not in cardboard boxes. There's not tons of inventory. You just kind of notice that all the drugs that come get done. And then we're in this predicament. And so that would be my breaking news about the new cause of addiction being drugs. I don't know a drug addict that hasn't done drugs. It seems like this common denominator, I know a lot that came from good childhoods. I know a lot that came from poor childhoods. I know a lot that their parents weren't drug addicts. I know people that parents were drug addicts. I know all the gamut. I know people that come from a family and 7 kids aren't drug addicts and 1 kid is. And now we're calling it trauma or a disease. How did this kid get the disease? And how is it's so convenient that the disease came with fentanyl. It's so convenient. And so you just kind of see all the talk and the rhetoric about what the cause is and everybody blaming each other. And nobody really comes to the conclusion that, hey, listen, if fentanyl comes here, it'll all get done. It's just, there's pain. And then this thing comes on and if you test it out, if you ever try heroin or meth or any of these things, they're really good. They're a really, really good pain reliever. They just are. They really, really take away your worries. Imagine something that just takes away all your worries. And it's like, it's no question, it's selling like hotcakes. It's like, here it is. Takes away all your worries. Just take a try. And now we've brought this into this. And I say, what's really kind of suspicious to me, it almost seems like this thing that takes away our worries very conveniently has been sold to a generation of people that, for me, I'm now trying a weight loss thing, and I'm always in the next, avoiding the reality. There's this, I got sold on these things now that I'm taking called skinny drops. It's like, who wouldn't buy that? Like, what I mean? It's like, of course I'm buying. It's a drop that makes me skinny. I just have to take a drop, and I'm like, I'll do it. And so, it starts, turns out, there are no shortcuts, possibly. I'm still looking into it, but I'll let you know. I doubt my story's going to go, I had struggled with food and I struggled with my weight, and then skinny drops came. And so I doubt it's going to play out like that, but I'm still hopeful,
Well, it's probably only addictive if you're an addict.
Yeah, right? Maybe.
How long you been on them?
Jeff. Sit back, Jeff. You're making me nervous. And so kind of these roads that happen in the beginning, we discover that there's this thing happening. Our family members using, or and then there's the beginning, and the beginning is kind of the same for everyone. We've discovered this family member is using, and now let's just solve this thing. Let's just nip it in the bud, and in this beginning phase, we try things. We try grandma's house. We try a new location. We try some kind of place in Montana that's been sold to us. We try Schick-Shadle. You could go over there, dude. It's only 2 days, 4 days, 7 days, and you're done. You're cured. They got that place. You could go over and just try fake drugs until you puke, and then you're not going to want drugs anymore. It's awesome. And then there's all these things that they're trying. And by the way, I like to draw parallels between me and the weight loss thing, because I've, the keto, the Atkins, the vegan, whatever whatever thing I'm currently trying right now, but anything to avoid working out and eating right is what I say. So, here you go. And the beginning is all kind of gimmicks, and it's all this kind of, trying. And then we sent them to Lakeside Milam, and we sent them to treatment, and we tried all this stuff. And then, well, of course, those are all what we hear in the beginning. And in the beginning, it moves into the next phase. And the next phase that I say families and people go through is the hope phase. We hope this works. We sent them here and we hope it works. We're just hoping. And the hope phase combines with the war phase. So the next thing that happens is the beginning, and then we move into the war, and we move into the hope phase. And this is where they're constantly relapsing, they're going in and out, and we're hopeful, we're believing in this person, we believe in what this addict says, we know that. And the addict in the hope phase and the war phase, it's always the addict's plan. We're going with the addict's plan. They've got a plan, they're sick, they're the ones causing all the issues. It's like if a plumber was like, you just went down to your basement and your basement was like waist deep in water, and the plumber goes, "Don't worry, I'm going to fix it." And he just caused it. It'd be like, what's going on? Like, he went down there, caused this damage. He's waist deep in water. He's got his tools, and he's looking at you, and he goes, "Don't worry, I'm going to fix it." It's like, maybe he's not to be trusted. Maybe this person who's in the predicament can't fix the predicament. Maybe it's that. And so now there's the hope phase, and this is the phase where we just send them off in hope. We just go, you know what? This is going to work. And then we get them back, and they come back, and we're like, are they fixed? And we're watching them a little while. Okay, they look a little different. They're talking a little different. This might be. And then the thing comes, I got my son back, or I got my daughter back, or whatever it was. And it was this temporary phase. But we brought them back into the same thing, and kind of struggle with this whole, independence thing, and what are they going to do, and what are they going to do? So this whole process. And then I like to say, eventually what happens is the family loses hope. Now this is good. You see, because when you lose hope, you actually have to do something. When there's no hope, when you can no longer trust, somebody or some gimmick or something. See, I got to lose all hope when it comes to weight loss. I got to lose hope. I got to lose hope that the next thing that they're going to sell me is going to work. But right now I'm in the war and the hope phase. And I like to stay in there. It's a nice little comfortable place for me, because it means that I still get to eat pizza. You see what I mean? It means that I still get, what I heard when the people were selling me the drops at dinner the other night. They said, all I heard from the whole sales pitch was they go, there's a lady and she's lost 20 pounds and she still eats McDonald's. And I was like, sold. Fucking buying it. Let me get it. We were at dinner. I ordered the box at dinner and had it delivered. And they go like, well, it'll take 3 days to get here. I go, no, tomorrow. So we overnighted it. 12 hours later, I'm dropping shit into my mouth, and here I am. And so then all of a sudden we lose hope. And what saved my life was my dad lost all hope in my ability to plan. He just lost it and said, I give up. You're not making another decision ever until I can see that you're qualified. Because what he did was he looked at the sum total of all of my decisions for the past 20 years of my life and went, they've all failed. I'm no longer holding on to the leash of you. You are pulling me on a leash and I'm done. And so what happened was my family, they always say that's the other mythical thing. Every addict needs to hit bottom. What the hell does that mean? Stop. Is homelessness not bottom? They're still out there doing it. Is death not bottom? They're still doing it. How many addicts know? What is bottom? What are you talking about? Everyone's dead. People are dying. They wake up from Narcan and do it again. They're broke. They're penniless. They have nothing. What is this bottom you're talking about? And if there is a bottom, Seattle has absolutely taken that away and made sure that somebody doesn't hit it and said, I don't want you to be cold because of your drug use. I don't want you to be hungry because of your drug use. I don't want you to be broke because of your drug use. And you need to be able to steal so you can keep going. And I will bring you a tent and a pipe and some warm clothes, and you just keep going, son. You keep getting high. And those same people will tell you, drug addict needs to hit bottom. The same dumb shits will tell you that. How are they going to do that? So what really happens is absolutely what happens is a family hits bottom. And in that bottom, a family loses all hope of the next gimmick. A family loses all hope, and the other thing that we have to do is the family has to stop trusting individuals. This is not going to be solved by a person. This is not something that's solved by a human. This is something that's solved by a process. It is solved by a process. So let's look at the process. For me, for weight loss, it's not going to be solved by some person that's selling me something. They're got to be selling me a process that's proven, a process that works, a process that people can actually see the results, a process that has wisdom. What is the wisdom in your process? Is there any wisdom in a shortcut? Have we ever heard of wisdom in a shortcut? Is there any shortcut in our entire lives that works ever? Is there any wisdom in that? And what wisdom means, see, we're always wise in hindsight. And so what do you need to be wise? You need hindsight. Well, where do you get that hindsight? Well, in our process, you get the hindsight for other people that have went through it. Because another person that's further along in the process has the hindsight to tell you what works and doesn't work. So the first thing that happens is the family members start going down these two roads, and the roads touch at the moment that the family loses hope. And the family says, no more hoping for shit. We're going to do the right thing. You know, I don't hope that I'm going to get a pizza delivered. I have to do the work. And so at the point where the family goes, wait, maybe, and we, as a process, start with the family first. And you all know this. And the reason we start with the family first is because the family might not, we can say enabling, or we can call it all the bullshit that they want to call it, or codependency and all the dumb shit they're saying. And you can buy into that, or you can just go, how about just don't feed it? How about we stop putting gasoline on the fire? Money puts gasoline on the fire of addiction. It just does. Listening to people complain about their life and not being responsible puts gasoline on the fire of a person that's not going through the process. So they meet. And what happens at this place is you find a process. What we like to say is, I'm not going to stop, because what's happened is we're not going to stop from the process that starts until the process of independence, until the process leads to an individual person that's coming from a family to be independent. There's no way in between that this would stop. So we're going to be with you all. We're going to be with a family from dependence to independence, the whole gamut. This is everything that needs to happen here. What good is somebody that's sober if they're not independent? What will begin to happen to a person who is dependent but sober? Well, eventually they will go back to why do people have a low self-esteem? Why do people have these problems? Because they're not independent. Because when you have to trust other people to pay your way, when you have to beg people for things, when you're not actually providing for yourself, you will not feel good. And eventually you'll just get lost in the motion of whatever nonsense you're lost in, and you'll go back to using drugs. So you need to be moving forward and progressing into this independence. So we got these families that meet, and the process begins because we meet where the family loses hope. And we say, now, why don't we do the process? And the process is the family, what they have to do. Now, I wanted to start I'd like to start a drug addict movement. I like all drug addicts to come together and say three things. One, we've come to this place in our life because we have undealt with pain that we relieve through drugs, and this thing takes our pain away, and we can all agree that this thing takes our pain away. So there's the problem. We have all of us drug addicts come together and just go, stop telling us what the problem is. Stop telling us we have a disease. Stop telling us this. Stop telling us that. Why don't you just hear us? We're experiencing it. We have a difficulty handling pain, okay? And pain can be boredom, success, it can be whatever thing that you call pain. It could be things that aren't pleasure, but one thing is definitely true of all of us. We use something to take our worries away, to take our pain away. 1. 2, we must learn as people to handle pain. All of us. We must learn to handle pain. So the solution that we're talking about from this thing that took away our pain, now we must be able to handle pain. 1 and 2. Number 3, we don't care about the cause. Stop talking about it. It is irrelevant. When you talk about the cause, you're getting into blame and you're getting into all the stuff that has us infighting amongst our community. And it almost to me feels like that the government is telling us what the cause. And I'm sorry, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but in this time when they're allowing all this fentanyl to come from another country, it's a good move to say it's our fault. It's a great move to have us all fighting with each other and saying, you traumatized me as a kid because you got a divorce from mom, or you traumatized me because you went to work all the time, or you traumatized me because when I was 5, I got a spanking. And we as drug addicts need to stop allowing people to take the responsibility away from us and actually man up and say, no, it's me, dude. I need to learn how to deal with my pain. That's the deal. And what happens when somebody in our life loses hope and puts us into a process that does this, we are forced to deal with it. Now, if there isn't the family, but yet there is just an addict will be here and they will be forced to feel the fire of responsibility. And you know what they're going to do if they don't know us? If the family doesn't know us, guess what they're going to do? If you've sent your kid to treatment, you know what your kid's going to do when he's forced to deal with pain. He's going to call you. And he's going to blame everyone around him for what's going on. And he's going to say, this place is unjust and this is unfair. And everyone's, this is the greatest one that ever. Everyone here is getting high. It's like everyone is getting high? Really? There's like 20 of us and one person relapsed and then they call their parents and so I'm going to go get high. It'd be awesome. I just go to Angie ships me off to fat camp. And I'm just there, and then I see a guy eat a donut. I just call her, everyone's eating donuts. And here I go, just pounding down some donuts. It's like it's so illogical, it makes no sense. But we as drug addicts, we don't care if we make sense. We just don't care if we make sense. We care to not feel pain. And what is pain for an addict? For me, in my opinion, pain for an addict is everything that's not pleasure. Literally everything that's not pleasure is pain. Pain, making your bed, that's pain. Cleaning up after yourself, that's pain. It's gotten to the point where taking a shower is now painful. We have to sit with people and say, please take a shower. Please, you stink. So everything is pain. And for me, this is not a case of trauma. It's a case of entitlement. That's what I meet. Now I may see people meeting traumatized. I don't see it. I see upper middle class people coming from great backgrounds and great homes that provided for tremendous success for every other generation except this one. Except it seems now that these same homes are producing traumatized victims. I'm not buying it. What I'm seeing is a case of drugs meeting entitlement, and we are now in a firestorm. And because when drugs meet entitlement, guess what it takes to get off drugs? It takes pain, handling pain, and it takes responsibility. It takes being responsible. One thing that I will guarantee each one of you, if your family member gets better, it'll be in the form of responsibility. It'll be in the form of incremental, more responsibility. I take ownership. I did that. I was blaming you guys for everything, and I'm no longer blaming you anymore. I'm no longer gaslighting people. I'm no longer saying that my problems are caused by you. I'm actually getting better, Dad or Mom. And that's because somebody's holding me accountable. And that's where this community comes into play. For the family, this community comes into play in the form of wisdom and clarity. And it's a group of people looking back at the other people that are less along in the process and saying to those people, please trust us. It works. Just go with the process. You don't have to trust Art. He's full of shit, but trust the process. And what it comes in the form of addicts is it comes in the form of responsibility. So you got people holding people accountable. You got someone saying, guess what? In life, you're going to have to earn it. In life, you're going to have to pay your own way. In life, it's tough. There's pain everywhere, and you can't just check out. You got to do it. And we don't care what caused it. It's irrelevant. Guess what? You have pain, and they have pain, and this person has pain. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's no easy shortcut. You're just going to have to learn to handle it. Don't care how hard the pain was. Don't care from a person who was abandoned and abused to a person who was bored. Same thing. Both of the solution applies. Going to have to learn to handle boredom. You're going to have to learn to talk and deal with what happened to you. Same thing. So there is 3 little points that we can agree on. 1, there's pain. 2, we're going to have to learn to handle the pain. And 3, it's irrelevant of the cause. There's no relevance. And when we stop talking about the cause, we can start working on these solutions. We can start actually being part of it until we get over this. And you'll find in the addiction realm, people love to talk about the cause, spiritual normality, a disease model, trauma. It's going to change. By 2025, they'll be telling us addiction's caused by something else. Trust me. And there's always some expert coming out to tell us and notice when they have the cause, they're selling the therapeutic solution or whatever nonsense they are. But one thing I know, every drug addict that gets better gets more responsible and more accountable, 100% across the board. So what is the solution? And to be more accountable and responsible means I can handle pain more. I don't just blame the world every time it doesn't go my way. I sit and I face the fire of the current moment, the fire of the world. I don't need to alter it anymore. And I take responsibility for the bad things. I always see the drug addicts. It's like, I got 30 days clean today. Did you see what I did, Art? I got 30 days clean. Well, why'd you relapse? Because everyone else is getting high. So we as addicts love to take responsibility for our success, but taking responsibility for our failure is a little bit much. And that's what we have to learn to do. We have to take responsibility for all of it, both our success and our failure and our happiness and our sadness. We have to own the whole gamut of responsibility. It comes through accountability and this pressure with the system. I like to say this, what is it called when a computer, everything is, you can only use that, like a closed circuit or whatever it is. You can only
like a closed map.
Yeah, you can only use the stuff that applies here. So you can only go down this path. We don't want you to go, not because we think we're great, but because this process right here keeps you in the pain. And if you move over here, somebody's going to try to relieve your pain. If you go over here, somebody's going to say, it's not your fault. If you go over here, somebody's going to say, oh, wow, those people are treating you harshly. You're going to convince somebody over here that it's not you. That's why we need to know the parents first, because that's the deal. We have these, a lot of the times, well, you would just think that down there, the 10 clients sitting in the Vegas house, you would just think that they've just been, traumatized by their family. You would just think that they're all just these broken baby birds traumatized by their families. But those guys are monsters. They are terrorists. They argue everything. They always complain. I mean, these guys are monsters. That's what they are. They're the perpetrators. They're not the victims. They're the leaders, not the followers. They led their family to where we're at now. Your family member who is an addict led you to this room, ruining your Tuesday night. You should be having a glass of wine and a nice dinner. But your leader has you here. And do not confuse your leader with yeah. Your leader has you here. And they're sitting there like they're innocent. They're like watching TikTok. My family's got some work to do. Good thing they're at Solution Group. They were some real shits.
Or we did that glow run, the Recovery Cafe in Courtney, and a girl could say that. It's like, my parents said that.
Yeah. It's like, oh, really? So if we bring your parents down here for a week or 30 days and we leave you at home just alone in the house, how's it going to go? The parents are like, we're all better. And they come back and the house is just ashes. It's like, I like it too. And then I look at the credit score. Parents, most of the families that come to me, we're talking 800 credit score. And to me, that means that you do what you say you're going to do. It means you're probably a pretty honest person. And then the kid goes, my parents are liars. Really? Like, really? I'm looking at their credit score. I'm looking at yours. It's a 400. Like, how many people did you lie to get to a 400? You know? I'm not buying it.
Yeah, for like what?
For a month.
A week? Oh, a month. Okay.
And she's been told that, yeah, my parents have a lot of work to do. Where are you living right now? She's in their garage. They got exit drywall.
Yeah.
They got a lot of work to do today.
Yeah, they got a lot of work to do about giving up on your bullshit. You know? And I'm not saying it's the case. Listen, when I speak, it's generalities, but there is everything that are outliers, and there's everything outside of things. So I've seen all types of snowflakes, and I mean, every addict and every family and everything is a snowflake. So I'm speaking in generalities tonight, and there is trauma and there is brokenness and there is depth to all of it. And there's underlying mental health issues and there's all the stuff. And we work with all of it. We understand that. But there's also just this problem that no matter what the issue is, it is solved by responsibility and an ability to handle pain. No matter what it is, the solution still applies. It says Solution Group, parents come. I want to create a distinction between what we do and what other people do. You know, I was 3 years into what we called Family First. We called it Family First, and we called it building a community of family, and we called it meeting the parents first. And we basically called it like, let's get all the bullshit out of the way and let's get down to the clarity of what's really happening here. And that's what we did. And then lo and behold, I was reading a book and it was called The Craft Method. I was like, oh, Craft Method. Maybe I should have read that first. But I just went and I thought we invented it. You know, and I was like, oh, we've invented it. Great. But it's called what we do. We've created a community of people that adds wisdom to what we're doing here, that people can see somebody further along. And the more, if your addict or somebody has been in the program and they've faced a relapse in this program, you have wisdom because you now know what happens when the relapse. And the person that hasn't had a relapse, they're sitting in fear saying, I hope that there isn't a relapse. And then somebody goes, oh, it's fine if there is, don't worry about it. And you're like, the family's like, what? Fine if they relapse? It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. This is what'll happen. And that adds the clarity and the wisdom, and you just keep moving it forward. And as long as we do the right thing, then the circuit is closed. We just don't break the circuit. We don't listen to the people say and whine and say, I need a different thing or I need another way. And we just follow this hallway with no holes all the way down to independence. If a person isn't provided for, my father, he was great. You know, he'd sit me down and I would have my car towed and it was wrecked and it was put away. And now I owe the tow place because I haven't told him. And I owe the tow place like, you know, $1,200 and it's building every day. And finally the thing comes in the mail and, you know, oh, you told me it was at your friend's house. And I'm like, No. And then my dad sits me down and he has a conversation with me about responsibility. And he says, you need to learn responsibility and you need to do this. And then he pays the tow bill. And I go, no, I don't. I don't need to learn responsibility. I got you, dude. You're going to pay when I fuck up, dude. I don't need to learn shit, you know? Now, if I was walking the next day and I had no car, that might teach me responsibility. But my father liked that time because that's what I gave him. That's what I gave him. That's the relationship that I gave him. And it was dad and boy. And I said, Dad, I need you. And my dad felt, because that's all he got. He didn't get anything else from me. He didn't get fishing and father-son time. And he didn't get to be proud of me when I did something. He got nothing. He got me in dire need. And then he got to feel like the hero for a minute. And that's what I gave him. And that's all he got. And so he did it because that's all he got. He got to actually come and be he got to be dad. And my dad liked putting on the cape and coming and being dad. But this thing, that was about him following my plans. Like I always say, finally my dad said, you know what, son? There will no longer be your plans and my money. Ever again. If it's my money, it's my plan. And if it's your money, go do whatever plan you want. But other than that, my money, my plan. And that's when he saved my life. He said, from here on in. And he held me accountable and he held me responsible. And my father saved my life. And he saved my life by losing hope in me. He no longer believed in anything I said. He saw through all the bullshit. He saw what a con artist I was and a manipulator. He saw how I didn't take responsibility, saw directly through the bullshit that I was and cleared me up and saved my life. And I'll never, ever, I owe that man my life. And I love him for that. And us drug addicts, when we get sober, we remember the people that held us accountable. We remember them and we have respect for those people. We remember the people that told us no. We say, thank God, and being a mom and dad and trying to tell your kid no is tough. It's unnatural. It shouldn't have to happen. But with addiction, the word yes is gasoline. And the word no is how you save someone. And I had to learn how to say no before I could help drug addicts. And that's tough because I never want to say no either. It feels so good to say yes and see somebody light up. And by the way, these kids that are addicted and that come into us, they have an ability to, and maybe all of you know this about your kid, they have an ability to be in pain and make everyone else in pain because of their pain. And all you want to do as a person around that person is to see them smile. All you want to do is to see them smile and be happy. So you're willing to do whatever they want to try to get them out of that pain so the rest of us can be free and happy. And they have learned this skill and learned this talent and learned the ability to make others suffer when they're not happy. Learn the ability to shut down and give everyone the silent treatment and pout. And all you want to do is watch a movie. All you want to do is eat a dinner. So you're willing to do almost anything to get them back. So as you hear, I hope that you hear that this isn't about anything other than the process that you're all involved in. The wisdom, the clarity, the community, the like-minded people, the people that have been through it together. And that's coming from addict side and family side. And that's what we're doing. And at that auction will be people from the whole level, from all the way to the clarity of my kid owning a home. There's Kristen, 7 years later, her son Tyler. I was at Pendleton at the Pendleton Roundup poker tournament. And it was 9 a.m. before the tournament. And Angie got Kristen on a phone call with me, and she was in the war and she was in the hope phase. And today her son just had a baby and owns a home, and and that's way more people here that are not in that part of it tonight. And you'll just see that each person, and if person's one relapse ahead of you or one problem ahead of you, they can bring wisdom for you. And that's everyone here, just providing wisdom for each other and saying, you're not alone. You don't have to do this thing alone. Quit trying to invent the wheel. Quit trying to like make a plan. It's not going to work. Give up until you see a process. And I don't ask anyone to trust me. I say, just walk down the path of the process for a couple feet. And if you walk a couple feet with me down this process, you'll start believing in the process and not have to believe in me no more. You don't have to believe in anything other than the process. So, and you can see it. Don't ask about the people or the individual, just understand the process. Family first, dealing with pain, holding people accountable, being responsible, not putting gasoline on the fire, and just bringing us from dependence on drugs and humans and society to an independent person. We've got tons of them here in this room tonight. Tons of people that came to us dependent, sitting here independent, all the rent coming in from the people that are independent today on the first, and all the people with their new cars outside, all the people with their credit fixed and getting ready. And it's a beautiful process that everyone's in. So I don't know if it's a disease or a spiritual malady or what the hell, but I don't have a hole in me. I wasn't traumatized. I was a normal kid that took dope. And guess what? I liked it. And mom and dad didn't abuse me, and mom and dad didn't lie to me, and they took me to Hawaii, and they took me to Vegas, and they took me everywhere. And I liked getting high. And I was bored. And I didn't like getting high like on the weekend. Everyone else went home, not me. I kept going. I was just different. I don't know if that means I have a disease or I like drugs a lot. But it doesn't matter if I have a disease or not. My disease is solved by being responsible and handling pain. So I don't know if it matters or not. But this day and age, I'm responsible and I can handle pain, and I can handle more pain than most. And you can give me, this world can give me whatever. I'm a pain expert. I'll take yours. I'll take whatever you got. And there is a no matter what ism to that, meaning ain't shit gonna happen to me. You can't set life. Guess what? People are gonna die. Things are gonna happen. I have no excuse. Nothing warrants drug use. You better put a pistol to my head, and then maybe you can pull the trigger before I hit that, because I'm not gonna hit that and go down that road no more. I've already been to that dark place. I don't want to go back. I'm not going to look up at society and say, please, please. I'm not going to have society look down at me and say, at some point I said, I'm never going to that table again. And somebody goes, what table? And I go, that table. You know, that table where somebody bigger than you is up here looking down at you, pointing at how bad you are. I said, I ain't going there no more. I'm going to look every man in the eye. And that takes responsibility and accountability. And it takes handling your pain. And I think that's what we want to bring to everyone here. So don't know what the cause is, but we do know what it says. It says solution group on the thing. Understand we've got one here. And we got a solution that's a process. And it's clear. It's clear. We don't hear no. We ain't sitting around down in Vegas complaining. These kids are learning to handle pain every day. That's what we talk about. How are you handling your pain? What are you doing? They ain't down there whining. We don't allow it. Sorry, that happened to you. Get over it. Let's go. Let's roll. So we got questions and new people, and I want everyone to get to know each other tonight. And so if you can, whatever you need to ask, whatever you need to say, we'll open it up for a few minutes.
Yes, let's open it up. So there is a raise your hand feature on your device. For those of you at home, I just raised our hand here. If you can't figure out how to raise your hand feature, you can unmute yourself. You can say hello in the chat. Somehow you can get my attention. And as long as your camera's on, I can put you on spotlight so we can see you too. And then those of you at Kent also, and we'd love to hear from y'all. If you're new out there, if there's anybody new at Kent, I'd love to know it. And then if you're new out there and would like to say hi, we'd love to say hi to you. But any questions, comments, all of it.
Angela.
Please say hi.
Hi, Angela.
Hello, Justin. Matt's here too.
You want to yell at him or anything while we have him on the line? Go ahead. Well, we don't just, he might need it. It's Bob, right?
Bob, yeah.
Bob, what's going
Did
on?
I hear that Bryce was in the crowd?
Bryce is in the crowd,
Yes.
man.
Yeah, Bryce is right here.
Hi, Bryce. I will try to, be careful what I say, but Bryce and I go back a couple of decades, actually. And, Bryce, I do appreciate you reaching out to Sterling. A couple of months ago, he let me know that the other day. So good on you. And I'm sure you're glad to hear that, from Art that we didn't abuse you and we took you to great places. You had all this enormous, great times on the water. But anyway, I had the weekend, a couple days with Sterling and Robbie, my grandson at Deception Pass. And I've got a grandchild. I've got a 17-month involved. And I'm trying to break, the state has told them that they're great. They graduated from their DCYF
Yeah.
thing. They came to my house with a piece of paper. And I said, you didn't graduate from anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I told them straight out.
Yeah. They're still doing fentanyl.
They're just softened again.
Yeah.
Your thing.
Yeah.
This is not a graduation. That's right.
Yeah.
From anything.
Yeah.
And
No drug use and parenting now is just a minor suggestion. It's not really something.
I was told to stop complaining.
Yeah.
I pardon that item and
Yeah. You're being a nuisance,
I was
Bob.
told to stop, and then I could not come to court, and I could not speak in court.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. You're being a nuisance.
And so, I try to get the other grandparents to do this, right? Because they get mad, they get frustrated, and I said, you're the captain of this ship. You helped create this. You brought them and the baby to your home.
Yeah.
And now that I sadly live alone and have done nice things to my house, they wonder why, it's my turn. I said, it's not my turn.
I would say, Bob, I love drug addicts to no end. I spend every day of my life around recovering addicts and even addicts that are getting high. And I spend my time and I love them to no end. But the reality is that this state specifically has started what I call almost the NAACP for drug addicts. It's a drug addicts rights state. So we are bad as people if we ask them not to steal, if we ask them to go to the bathroom in an indoor bathroom rather than the sidewalk, if we ask for any of these stuff, we are the bad people. If I'm a business owner and say, hey, please don't go to the bathroom, I'm trying to get business into my business, we're bad. We're stigmatizing them. We're causing kinds of problems. If we ask for our local park to just be free of people living there, and so we can bring our kids there, then we're wrong. It's almost as if somebody's robbing my house. I must just kind of be kind to them.
They literally give them a chart on how to take drugs.
Yeah. Jack.
So given that culture.
Okay, wait.
That's DCYF.
Yeah. Okay, let's not. Okay,
Before
keep it on
I
track.
Before I switch this, while Bryce comes up, I just wanted to mention, so it's Bryce's daughter who's 2.5. Bryce has been with us since April, and he's, working on rebuilding his life so he can get custody back and all that. She is with a caretaker in SeaTac, and she's who needs a babysitter. If just one more plug, if anybody knows anybody that we can help this family out, it would be awesome. So that's great.
Bryce is now sober, independent repo man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He got to Vegas and found a cool job. There's Bryce kind of likes to steal cars. He found a way he found a way to do it, you know? So he just, he gets to drive around and steal cars. He loves it. The thing just has, they don't even have to hook it. They just like grab it with these pinchers now and just, yeah. And I think Vegas is probably like the repo land, like the top repo place, You just got a little bit of a gambling problem. There goes your car, I don't think they repo cars in Washington anymore. They don't care. So, Jack.
All right, so given all the folks you guys are talking about, how do you get people to want to stay independent and not go back to the pleasure later on or as time goes by
Yeah.
and to want to embrace that pain
Yeah.
and deal with it?
That's the rub, isn't it? I mean, that's the whole deal. Like how when this world is at every angle trying to make it easy on people and trying to say, don't do the work. I heard about this thing called quiet quitting at work. It's where you just go to your job but don't work there. You just take the check until they figure it out. And I thought, God, I mean, first of all, how boring. But second of all, and I just think that it's just, there's a lot of things that I don't want to get. But again, this is tough because you gotta, but I think that most of the kids that come to us, most of the people that come to us, this has already been instilled in them. So most of the families and almost everyone that we deal with, this hard work and this thing has already been instilled, and these values are instilled in them. And the drug use, the values disappear for this minor period of time where in their life where drug use will just demoralize you and take away your values, and there's no way around it. You can't do drugs with values. You can't do drugs honestly. There's just no way to do it. And so there's these people that come from these, most of all, we just experience these really independent at heart, strong people that are leaders, that are now just, wrecked by drugs and having to lie and having to defend themselves and having to blame. And once they get sober for a while, it all just comes back. The independence, the drive, the want, I mean, we have everyone in this room, every person that's recovering in this room right now, we have independent people that it all came back. And these people were horrible at some point. I mean, but they're here now, and each one of them, it's instilled in them, and the foundation returns, and you can see, like everyone says, well, no, you can see the parenting. You can see it. In our program, you can see it. You can see it return, and you can see how good it can be. And they come back more, strong than before because they've been through something. I like to say that this new drug thing, this is just their Vietnam. This is the new Vietnam. This is where you look and you see all your friends are dying. This is when every kid in this room has about 14 people on their Facebook friends list that have died. That's exactly like Vietnam. You look around and some people just aren't making it home, but the ones that make it home and still have their faculties, God willing, you'll see this return in strength, and that's kind of what we see. Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, I don't think it's like getting someone to want to stay independent. Cause I know personally, I'm pretty independent lately, and I still call upon help every now and then. But I think the issue is like me personally, I stray away from what Art's talking about, continuing to take responsibility for things, because it's really easy to start saying if you didn't fucking do that, this wouldn't happen. And it's I've been around a lot, dude.
Yeah.
And so it's easy for me to realize when I do that. It might take a minute, but the reality is yeah, you did that and you fucked me, but you fucked me less before and I let you right? So it's not that I don't want to continue on that.
Well, and what's the alternative? So Jack, that's the other thing is why we would say family first is because we are going to encourage the family to force independence, to say, there's nothing coming from here. And when it would come back, and I could help you if you were already independent. It's kind of like that thing, like earn 10,000 and I'll give you another 10, but I need to see you earn 10 first before I give you a leg up. And so it's not really that people want to be independent. It's just we try to eliminate any other option. Hey, you ain't going to lay around here and have your folks pay your rent. No, get up. It's time for work. You're not going to do this. And they go, well, I don't have any. They go, well, I want to go live somewhere else. I know you don't have any money though. So what's the alternative? You're not going to lay around here, but you can't leave because you don't have any money. So what's the alternative? See? So forcing this process, this closed wall says, listen, we're going to start, I always tell these kids, I'm like, it was already checkmate. Before I met you, you were in checkmate. You just didn't know it. Because your parents trust me more than they trust. The parents trust our process more than they trust you. So it was already checkmate. So you can go say whatever you want to say, or you can try to be dependent all you want. It ain't going to happen. I remember a great story. I was riding up to tell Brandon Barnett was his name. And he was in the back seat, and I had three or four addicts from my program. And we're riding up. I'm going to do a speaker thing up in way up there north, like Tulalip area or whatever, and we're driving up there in the back seat, and Susan was Brandon's mother's name, and she happens to call when Brandon's in the back seat, and I'm driving along, and me and Susan are on the phone, and Susan goes, hey, I'm wondering, should I buy Brandon a phone or not? He's really wanting a phone, and I don't know whether to buy him a phone or not. And so I just go, well, let me hold on. And he doesn't know I'm talking to his mother. I just went, hold on. And I go, hey guys, what do you feel about parents buying their grown adults phones? Like, do you think this is good that parents would have to buy someone and Brandon goes, I go, do you think that they should buy their kids phone? Brandon goes, no, parents should not be buying their kids stuff. They should stop. And so I go, Susan, Brandon says he doesn't want a phone. And he goes, fuck you are. But that's the process. That's it in a nutshell. Like, yeah, I know nobody wants to be independent. Boy, it sounds great with people. I don't want to be independent. If the government wants to pay my mortgage, it'd be awesome. But that's just not an option. I have to actually pay my mortgage, and it's not coming. And and actually, that's wrong. I do want to be independent. I mean, at some point it transitions to where independence feels awesome, where the best feeling you can have is going to a man and giving him his money before you owe him the money. The best feeling you can have is owing nobody nothing. That's the best. And if you have a mortgage, you pay it early and you don't have no one calling you on the phone, and that feels great. And it feels good to do that kind of thing. So I think at some point, independence just feels great, because independence that's our options. See, if I was dependent on something, I couldn't wake up at 6 a.m. and say, I want to go up to Seattle today. Money isn't everything, but money is options, and independence is options. It means I get to do what I want to do because I don't know no one shit. And that's nice. And I wish that I wish I could shoot that into their veins rather than drugs. I wish I could shoot a little bit of feeling of what it feels like to be able to tell people, I'm not picking up what you're putting down. I'm going somewhere else. What it feels like to go to a job and not need money. You're dangerous. You go to a workplace and don't need money, you are a dangerous employee. Because if you don't like it, you go, hey, I'm cool. I mean, I know people like that, and it makes them very valuable and very dangerous at the same time. But when we're dependent upon the workplace, we have to be subservient. We have to be, so sooner or later, this independence thing starts getting people high, really. And it starts feeling good. I tell all of them, you need to have your place where it's your remote. You need to be the king of the remote. Now, you might not want it, but you got to have it. You can't walk into the TV room and hope somebody wants to watch what you want to watch. You got to be the king. And so that's independence, to be able to have your space, your deal. And that feels good. Yes.
My name's Alan. I'm the first timer here with my wife. I'm not sure how I got here tonight.
Your leader.
Somebody got us to come, the council told her about this place. We've been trying to get our son sober for God knows how long. And he was homeless for a while, and then we let him come in the house as long as he was going to methadone clinic, and that's just been a long, slow train for.
Is he still on the methadone?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a nasty thing.
2 years now, so I guess we're the hope stage. I don't know where we're at in the stage, just kind of a never-ending stage.
You know, there was a time in my life where I had to accept, kind of like I would if something that I thought was wrong, but then I would tell people like, oh, it's okay, just because I wanted to kind of look good and look open. But, you know, I don't think there's an addict in this room that wouldn't agree. The methadone is criminal. It is a criminal endeavor. And those people are not only enabled, but committing a crime. And they're saying, please use our drugs. And, you know, it's a harsh thing to keep somebody on something indefinitely and not have a plan. And then to allow all the behavior that you're trying to stop. And I imagine they are. Allowing all the behavior that you sent them there to stop to continue. And that's part of the problem with it.
Here's the big aha for me. The state will pay for your methadone treatment, but there isn't a state-run recovery program that will take on methadone because it's too hard to get people on the methadone. Yeah. And if you go to a private recovery place, they're going to charge you a double to get on methadone because it stays in your system so long. It's just
and there is no drug addict that needs to get to work tomorrow that could call and get a cab. But if you need to get to the methadone clinic, they will pay for a cab for you to get there.
That's crazy.
They make you bring a lockbox.
It doesn't matter how much. But go ahead, tell us more about you. I didn't mean to.
I'm sorry. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is some of the things, you know, like you said, you would just want to have that one day where they're halfway lucid and you can have a good meal and things like that.
Yeah.
Remember those times, but the never-ending chain just keeps going and going. I mean, it's been at least 2 years now. We've been going to this methadone clinic and trying to get him into a government rehab place. You can't get him in, so then as parents, like, we start blaming them like they're the problem. I'll the system.
Yeah.
Which is part of the problem, but at the same time, we're not holding them accountable. At the end of the day, we're not making him be a man. He's 27 years old.
You know, part of what we've developed here and what we thought was, for me, what I found difficulty in was when I'm speaking to somebody that works in a system and the person tells me that the system is broken. The person that is working in the system, and then they go, well, the system's broken. And then I go, don't you work in it? And why do you continue to work in a broke system? Why aren't you doing something about it? And that's what you'll hear everywhere. The system is broken, but you'll never hear who's responsible for the broken system. You'll never hear the system's broken and it's me. I'm doing it. No, it's my boss and I just work here. And then it's his boss and he just works here. And what we wanted to do, and I don't mean to rail against things, but we wanted to do is create a system that works. That's it. So we looked at all the things that don't work and went, let's do the things that work. We have no dog in the fight over here or over here, over here. We just want to do what's successful. We just want to put together a system that works. I work in the system, so I want it to work. And if I'm working in a system that doesn't work, I'm going to fix it or quit. I'm not going to go to work in a system that doesn't work. I'm going to go, no, you know, I'm sorry. I'm not, there's a stand-upness to that I want, you know? And so that's what's difficult is going to the CPS system in Washington or the treatment system or the mental health system and all of them saying every time the system is broken and you can't find who's responsible for it. How can that be? Something's up. Something's not right. What is it? Why doesn't everyone that comes in the mental health system and go, we're broke, we need to be fixed. Stop taking the money. Then if it's broke, stop taking the money. If my system's broke, I promise you I'm not going to take your money. No, I can't. I didn't earn it. Don't want it. It's broke. but you won't hear it. And I don't care if you're talking about a lonely civil servant or you're talking about, stop. Stand up for it. Yell, whistle blow, do something. You know, people are dying and they can't get help. And families are struggling and we're blaming the family. And it's over and over and over and over. And families are just confused. You're just going everywhere and everything's your fault. It's like, dude, I just raised my kid just like I did this other kid that's fine. He just graduated college. What are you talking about? It's like the Christmas presents were there. The birthday presents were there. What's happened here? And then maybe I'll run for governor.
So who is that, Art?
That is Will
Alan?
or Alan and Dawn.
Have I talked to you guys? I don't know that. I just want to make sure that we can.
Dawn? Yeah, Dawn texted you today. I saw the text.
Dawn. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Dawn
Yeah.
Artist. Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought you said song or something. I was like, what?
And
I'm not time hearing here. All right.
Huh? Bev has a question.
And Stamp is all in this box here too, saying his 2 cents. So we want to address
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, I don't really have a question. I just, you guys all know in Kent, the victim mentality, and it's running rampant. What's my next move, Art? I'm looking for some advice.
Well, your case is tough. You're in the process. You're not throwing gasoline on the fire. Sometimes when we're in these states and we have a person who's difficult, sometimes doing nothing is the move. Sometimes we have to be in a kind of a state of this is where we're at right now kind of thing, and nothing bad, just this is where we're at. I came back here today. I didn't just come back here because I wanted to come to Seattle. I came back here because I saw a house in need of some support, and I saw managers in need of some support. So I came up here to support this house. So we'll see what goes on over the next couple of days and how we pull out of this. So it's not on you. You guys aren't doing anything wrong. You're doing your job, and the process has now got to do its job. So just keeping in the process, and you're fine. There's nothing wrong here. It's just what it is. And like I said, we're going to do our job, and we're going to continue to do our job until it works. You know that. So what your job is tonight is probably like a hot bath and and relax. Know that she's safe tonight.
Yeah, it's when you hear her verbalize that she doesn't have any control over her behavior. It's like, I can't even believe I hear that. And that she says it, and then she actually believes it. It's like, it's ridiculous, but I don't know. I don't know what her next move. At some point, she's got to realize that she's not taking any responsibility for anything she does. But that will be.
We got you, Bev. We're working hard. And everyone is. The whole community is. Everyone tries to hold her accountable, and it's what everyone's doing here. With love. We want to hold her.
Thank you. I love everybody there. They're just awesome. I don't know if Brad's in the room, but he always makes me feel good when I show up.
Well, Brad's a great influence for Kendall, and Brad's helping. Brad's helping. That's what it is.
And Max is great. I just love Max. He's been through a lot the last few days.
Yeah.
He loves you too,
Okay. She's where she,
And
well,
I
told
love
her,
Kyle. I baked him a birthday cake. He knows I love him.
I told her she needs to get on a plane to Vegas tomorrow, and then she said, well, there's no trees there.
There's palm trees.
Yeah, so she's a big tree fan. So I saw her today. She was just admiring the trees. The gratitude for all the Washington trees.
We even have a casita at the grad house.
No, that's my room.
Yeah, you got to quit selling the casita.
I
You're
know, it's
overbooked.
full.
And
It
you're
is
overbooked on the casita.
I know, that's true. That's true.
Sells it to everyone. It's like,
You
dude.
gotta come up with a treaty.
Okay, we need to address
Some,
the, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
we
And
need
then,
to
yeah,
address what?
see you, Lisa, you're in line. Chris Stampalia had a lot to say there on the methadone in the chat. Can you see the chat or no?
Oh no, we can't see the chat. We understand Chris isn't a fan. I mean, I'm glad that he could speak out about it, but yeah,
He just,
I love you.
he's just wanting to make it known that he got off methadone in a state-run facility.
Yeah. Oh, and it can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Lisa has a
So-
question.
Yeah, so can you just differentiate the difference between methadone and Suboxone as far as kind of
Well, I'll
everything? Yeah, I mean everything that you just said about methadone. I mean, like there's Suboxone too for opioids. So what's the difference?
Well, these guys can tell you that, but methadone was my drug of choice for about 10 years. I love the stuff. Got me high as hell. Methadone gets you high. That's the deal.
But so can Suboxone.
No. It can maybe get you high once on your first time if you haven't done it in a while, but on day 2, day 3, the euphoria goes away. So you're dealing with no euphoria. The methadone, that's some good stuff. I mean, methadone, all of us know that we told our parents that we're going to the methadone clinic. We all know it meant I'm going to still get high, and this time it's going to be legal. And, I'm going to get high, and you're going to now have to accept me in your house, nodding off. And what I'm going to do in a day in the methadone clinic looks like get there early, get home, eat some good food, and watch some TV. Maybe a little later, add a little ice cream to it. And, yeah, Brad just got off it, so Brad also, but they have to be down to a certain level to do so. Brad, would they have you out? You got off it. Brad was in tremendous pain, by the way. He was almost killed in a car accident and burnt up by a fire. And if you saw it on the news, Brad was recently on the news, and this was this is like 4 months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So in 4 months, he's recovered. He went on methadone because he was in tremendous pain and he needed a pain reliever. He did the methadone. They put him on a massively high dose, one of the most incredible doses of methadone that you will see. He went through the process of dealing with his pain and recovering from his injuries, and then, admirably didn't listen to them about staying on it and wanted off it, and did that very rapidly. And now he's...
I do gotta say, Lamar, I want to sit here, and there's something weird inside of me that wants to, not mention that I got Suboxone, because the truth is that this Suboxone is an opioid. That's what it said.
Yeah.
And so at some point, I know that maybe not right this second, but at some point that I think it's really important to have a plan to come off of it.
Yeah.
Because eventually you're going to have to. And the longer you're on it, the more you're on it, the harder it is, just like anything else. So I just, I'm not a huge sub fan, but I'd rather take subs than be back out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
That's where I'm
methadone had an effect on you in the realm of...
Oh, I was really high.
Yeah. Well, and also didn't the methadone also comes with like a victim mentality. It
If you go down to the clinic, if you go down to the clinic, you need to see what time it is.
Yeah.
Just go down to the
Yeah, there's nobody pulling up. There's no CEOs pulling up to that place. It's I mean, in fact, if somebody has a job, it's probably Mod Pizza. You ever see those guys making the pizza? Yeah.
You can have your own car. It's great.
Yeah. So I went to Mod Pizza, and the guy was doing the dough, and he was making the dough, and he had his head like fell into the, you know. And then I was like, I didn't know what was going on, and then I heard they hired addicts, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what's going on here at Long Pizza. But no, methadone is it was my drug of choice. Like I said, I loved it. That's what I chose to do as a drug. I bought it on the street, so I didn't go to a methadone clinic to get it. I got it retail out here on the street, and I loved it because methadone keeps you high, has a longer half-life than most drugs. So methadone was a smooth ride for at least 24 hours before I even started feeling any want or need to do any other drugs. It was smooth. And then methadone allowed me to do all the coke that I wanted to do, and just party. Well, I was in love with that, and so I don't see it as a solution. I saw it as something else. It caused me a lot of issues, and I don't know. It's just a difficult.
So my question is, when you're on that, are you able to rationally think?
No, no.
The reason I ask that is because the program requires sort of a rational thought process. But what I've noticed is when someone's on the fentanyl, they think they're doing fantastic. Yeah. That so that they have that.
Yeah, they look like one of those car windsocks, like the car lot, like folding over. Oh, they're like, I'm doing great. It's like, no, dude. You ever see those you ever see the people folding up on fentanyl recently? Like they're just
they're walking.
They're folded over.
Foreheads dragging on
They're
just like walking.
And all I see in that, and I travel our streets now, and all I see is pain. That's all I see is pain, undealt with pain everywhere. Huh?
They walking by the courthouse and all these guys around in Florida.
Yeah.
Do they know it? Do they know that pain? I mean, do they?
Yes.
Are they rationally thinking enough to?
No, they're not rationally thinking, but they're stuck. They're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a case of being stuck. And from the first time, I'll tell you one good news is that I'm seeing the people that are on fentanyl now come in with more wanting, more vigor to get off, more disgust in what they were doing. And that wasn't true in the heroin phase. In the heroin phase, nobody was wanting to really get off it. It was like nobody was coming, but they're like running for the hills when it comes to this fentanyl now. They're coming in and they've seen some shit that they shouldn't have saw, and some dirty things are going on out there, and people are.
It's not cool.
Yeah, it's just not. And you just see.
Everybody looks at you like, dude, why are you what?
Yeah.
People that don't do it.
And you see a totally different. There's like a look of. There's a look of shock on people's face almost coming in. The people that have been through it the worst, they're looking like, I've been out on the streets, Art, you don't want to go out there. The behavior is reached all kinds of weird levels. There's a lot of, we're calling all these overdoses. A lot of these are murders. They're out in these areas now. They're in homeless camps. Somebody stole their dope. You just stick the guy. He's dead. Overdose him. This is going on. Brad can tell you more about it after tonight. He's been out there. No, I mean, I'm serious. And, Brad is my prime example because he's my best researcher, and he's come off the streets to because I trust he knows he didn't lose his mind out there, and I trust what he went through. And Jeff's another one. And I've seen it, but the recent last 2 years of fentanyl and what's happened is different. And I can tell by the looks on their faces that it's serious, it's gross and disgusting, and what's happening is there's an undealt with pain that's just bubbling up, and that pain is coming out in all forms, and these kids are coming off just not the same. By the way, no matter how I talk about these young people or these kids, I call them kids, 40 or under, I call them kids. No matter how I talk about them, I admire, I respect. I wouldn't be sober in this day and age. I would have died. I got sober because I ran out of money. I really did. And these kids aren't running out of money. They can get high anytime they want. They can leave here right now tonight, and in less than the time it takes to get a pizza their drug of choice is right there. In fact, they won't be able to get to Circle K tonight without fentanyl being on the street. So these are tough kids that are sitting in this house trying not to go get high when the drugs are right there. I didn't have it like that. I couldn't have got high if I wanted to. I would have had to find $100 or steal it from someone, go out. They got $2. $2. In fact, they might not, nobody even cares. They might not even need money. You can just leave here and somebody will just get you high. And to do that and to fight their addictions in these conditions with all the drugs being so prevalent is admirable. So for no matter what, when these kids are sitting in this program and I say, I don't care how they're not out there doing that, and they could. And so no matter how I'm, talking, it's admirable. And I have a lot of respect for everyone that's doing this. Because imagine if the thing that just you wanted most, the thing that took all your worries away, you couldn't drive down the street without just seeing it.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to talk about alcoholics couldn't go into a bar. This is 100 times that. Yeah, you can't go to 7-Eleven. You can't go to Safeway. You can't go to Fred Meyer's. You can't go to any store. You can't go down the street. It's just there all the time, every day in your face. And we got to stop. And that's why I say we need to stop blaming each other. There is anthrax was a line of anthrax. It shut down the country. We can't have anthrax here. Shut the entire country down because somebody found a speck of anthrax on an envelope. We brought in hazmat, and now there's just dump truckloads of fentanyl powder, and nobody knows. With no idea how it's getting here. Nobody knows. What the hell? Until we start uprising and saying it needs to stop coming here. I don't care if China's bringing it in. Pay China not to bring it here, please. Whatever you got to do. Yeah.
How did we do
Can you repeat the question?
She just asked, how do we do that? And, I'm too busy playing poker. So I'd have to, we need a new leader. We need someone that can, I don't know.
I mean, I got in my hungry phase when I went through all of this, and I contacted legislators, and I was contacting the state, and I was contacting schools and everything, and I was like, I'm going to be the super solver, right? A lot of the legislators and things like that, they just don't have
too much money.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. They just don't have the
treatment in jail and
they don't have they're not willing to listen to the people who are in it. And I don't know if they're willing or interested in solving the problem.
It's like
That's
there was,
the hard part.
there was a vaccine for cancer. It would completely wipe out billions of dollars in cancer research.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if you have influence within your community, yes, start having those conversations. I mean, I talk with people that that I get a chance to talk to and say, it's like, yeah, this is a thing.
Well,
here's a place where you can actually get help, or if you know people that you help and get help.
I think at Battlefield here, we've decided that that's just not yet our deal. That what we do is what we do, one family at a time. Let's get you out of the fire. Let's then we'll come to a place of enough force and enough family members eventually that maybe we can. But at this point, it's like we're too busy, cleaning things up right now, and it's just what we've taken our stand in because like I said, I've went out there and want to fight too, but there is a lot of power you have to go against right now to do this. So. We must be getting close to. Yeah, we're over by a little bit. Okay, so we're over by a little bit. Well, let's just, I just want to make it clear, and remind everyone what we're doing here. And each one of you guys that's here tonight, I know you got all the people in the program and the families. I know we all got our hectic day, but we're doing the deal. This is the deal. The deal is, I don't care where my pain comes from. I need to learn how to handle it, and I can't use anything to make it go away. And I got to face these things. And we need things. Us kids in this room, we need to be held accountable, and we need responsibility, and these accountability and responsibility just kind of rise us up, and then we work the whole deal all the way to independence. And I think I hope the new people appreciate the process and see the value in what we're doing here and want to come join and get your auction ticket. The auction's going to be a great night. I see it must be a clerical error because I see some of you don't have your tickets yet, but I'm sure it's just a clerical error on Angie's behalf. I'll have her clear it up. But if you don't have your tickets, get your tickets, because it is going to be a night out. We're gonna have a great dinner, and then we maybe go play some slot machines and gamble and be addicts up there at the Muckleshoot. The Muckleshoot needs us. Okay, they want a head count by next week. The Muckleshoot needs us. They're running out of money. They need us. So we're not only going to donate to Battlefield, like just try to donate more to Battlefield than you do to Muckleshoot. That's all we ask. Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.
Good night. Good night.
Huh?